Your Excellencies, heads of state, ministers, business and thought leaders, distinguished ladies and gentlemen, all protocols observed. Thank you. What I'd like to do is just spend a few minutes talking about something that's critically important for the continent, which is in our quest to propel Africa towards a future of prosperity and growth. But before we address the issue of public-private partnerships, I think there's unanimous agreement that the change that we need and the change that we require will come from the private sector. So today we focus on public-private partnerships in Africa with a spotlight a little bit on Ghana to give us some context. These partnerships represent a crucial investment model where the merging of public objectives and private capital must create tangible results. So firstly, let's look at the potential of public-private partnerships and how they add value. This is not new to Africa, but its potential remains largely untapped. PPPs have demonstrated the ability to mobilize investments, bring in technical expertise, and accelerate project completion. To give some impression and some context, the investment scale today, as of 2023 in Ghana, was about 24.17 billion, of which was about 23 projects. And this showcases the private sector's ability to generate substantial funds, a task often challenging for the private sector. It also shows project diversity. We have a wide range of projects from ports to infrastructure, demonstrating the ability to meet diverse public needs and bring specialized expertise and innovation across various sectors. Government's contribution in this is about risk sharing and supporting essential public welfare projects, making them more valuable for private investment. And then there's revenue, which is all important. Revenue from concession fees. In Ghana, I think last year was about 18.1 million in fees from projects like the Takrady liquid bulk terminal, which underlines a direct financial benefit to the public sector. And these funds are available for reinvestment in public services or other critical infrastructures. So what are the pitfalls if it's all working so well? One, as Gabby went through, is the complex regulatory environment. The main challenge is the complexity and inconsistency of regulatory frameworks across different African countries. And effective PPPs require clear, consistent, and supportive legal and regulatory environments. And to that extent, the vision and now the implementation of ACTFA becomes critical in delivering this reality. The visa-free that was mentioned by our president is also another example of how the political will and the commitment is moving us towards effective PPP. Other issues clearly are political and economic instability, financial and capital constraints of government, and limited success examples. So as we look forward, and as we look forward as a collaborative group, the discussion and debate about, is there a better approach to PPP? What's a more effective strategy that can be proposed by this collaboration? And this approach involves a clear division of responsibilities, where government focuses on creating an enabling environment and mobilizing revenue through taxation and concessions, while the private sector, what it does best, drawing in investments and providing expertise. Some examples of how this approach can be more beneficial. Where we see successful PPPs is where government focuses on delivering clear and stable and supportive policies. We see also where there's a focus on mobilizing revenue directly through taxation, which effectively makes them major partners in whatever PPP project that we're working on. But the private sector role becomes more critical when we go beyond investment and expertise. As a bank, we see the private sector role not only in supporting the actual project, but again in developing a community and supporting the smaller entrepreneurs in that environment or in that community. And that distinction is important because effectively we're in the jobs business and we're in the wealth business. So with all development banks, One of the things that we see primarily is the development bank's role in developing private-public partnerships. Because the role of a development bank is effectively a super convener. We are uniquely positioned as development banks as a mediator between the public and private sectors, purely due to our structure. Although we operate as a private entity, our shareholder tends to be government, and is government in Ghana's case. And that gives a unique advantage in fostering collaborations between these two critical sectors. As a super convener, we bring together the banks, we bring together the private sector, and we also bring together government. The other example is particularly in the transformative sector of agriculture. And there we're working to transform the agricultural value chain and moving from fragmented lending and working together again with both the public and the private sector and the banking sector to develop maize, rice, poultry, cassava, and soya. Key example where we made great progress is the rice value chain. So in partnership with the Ghana incentive-based risk sharing system, GERSO, for agricultural lending, we're working with government agencies and selected private institutions to transform Ghana's rice value chain. Now, this involves improving access to finance for farmers, introducing better farming technologies, and creating linkages right from the grower all the way to the off-taker. And we've already begun work on this, and we're looking to develop that program, and we hope to be able to build food security in terms of rice within the next 3 years. Equally with this is a focus on research policy implementation, enhancing productivity and market access, and collaboration, of course, with the Ministry of Agriculture and the Commodities Exchange through this program. So these are a couple of the effective ways in which we believe that development banks can play that role. And in conclusion, the journey of public-private partnerships in Africa, especially in Ghana, underscores that critical lesson. Impactful development requires significant commitment from all sides. Public-private partnerships have shown their strength in mobilizing resources, diversifying projects, and enabling government support. Yet we know they face challenges. And so to harness their full potential, we prescribe a balanced approach where governments create stable policy environments and the private sector contributes investment and expertise. Thank you for your attention.